Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel. Now, Kevin Samuels, as we all know, is one of the people that spearheaded this so-called learned prayer movement. He had a lot of gems. He was very, very particular with the way he delivered his message, and I think that's what a lot of people respected him for and followed him for. Now, this is one of these gems that was really released before he was big, before he went viral. And this is the 9 flags to look out for when you're dating. And this is to solidify among you men that indeed you're the prize. I think there's a lot to glean from this one. Let's get down to it.
You've already know I'm all about guys first. When men are the best versions of themselves, the world is a better place. Men, know what you're worth. Have some standards because you are the prize. A woman reaches her peak of hotness at 25. Guys, if you can survive the 20s into 30s, you can demand everything. When you're out there grinding, building your business, not getting caught up, not having babies out of wedlock, not getting married too soon or at all, you're going to become more valuable. As you start to build your career, build your business, just do you. You're going to be an attractive man on all kind of levels to so many different women.
Now, this is the one thing that has always disturbed many of us, especially when we are growing up. Delayed gratification. It is very difficult, especially in your home. You have your hormones raging. You're ignorant about what's really important about life. Often these days you find it into the have a father at home to show you what's up in the world. So it is one of those important things that if you're able to do, there's greater things ahead of you.
Guys, a lot of times that'll be the first time guys experience any success with women in mass. Yeah, we've all dibbled and dabbled a little bit here and there, but typically guys don't experience the same level of success that women had when they were teens and in their 20s. So here's some things that guys need to watch out for when they're dating, regardless of the size of your pocketbook or your dreams or aspirations. Ignore these things at your peril, because just like all the great men of antiquity, the Bible, and in the past, a woman can need the help, but oftentimes the wrong woman can throw a man completely into chaos. Let's get started. Let's start off with this one. She wants to be courted. Yep, she wants to be courted. Now I know there's some guys who are probably thinking, hey Kevin, you kind of talk like a traditional man. What's wrong with her wanting to be courted? Nothing if she's truly a traditional woman. But typically women want to be courted because they want all the benefits of traditional femininity and gender roles, but they ain't bringing none of that stuff to the table. This is just another way of asking you to simp.
Now, that there's never been a truer sentiment. A lot of what is happening today is because a lot of men are giving undeserving women a lot of attention, a lot of resources. A woman can run around for a decade, sleeping around, do whatever she wants, getting drunk, drugs. Well, she could even have terminated a few of potential babies. Name it. That's the person that's now at the end of that long trail, you're going to take it to your home and offer so-called princess treatment. It's absolutely absurd. And it's because we job stand up that way that you're not really able to get what you want. Desperation.
Very few westernized women deserve to be courted. I say it again, very few westernized women deserve to be courted. You guys fought for equality. You're my equal. You wanted equal pay. You wanted equal rights, well, you need to get equal lefts. You wanted to be courted. That ain't gonna happen. We are equals. Deal with it. Thank feminism one-on-one, your mamas and your grandmamas. This is the world. Ladies, if you're watching, understand this is what men are on the lookout for. So if you're asking some guy to court you, what are you bringing to the table other than sex and debt?
Now, it is obvious that people are overpaying for bad products. That's what he's saying. But at the same time, I know a lot of you want to talk queer. Some of you are traditionally inclined. And you say, oh, I want to do this and that. That's all fine. But you realize that the conditions under which that was appreciated don't exist anymore. So it will be just stupid for you to continue play the same harp when people are not dancing to the same music. So what is happening that a lot of you are settling for really mediocre women. That's what's going on.
Got a 90-day rule, or any kind of rule like this, in my opinion. The first time I hear a woman say she's got a 90-day rule, I'm out. The first time I hear a woman talk about this rule or any other kind of rule like that, I'm out. Just like the United States had a policy, we do not negotiate with terrorists. Women can be emotional terrorists. I do not negotiate with them, because if you give a mouse a cookie, it'll ask for a glass of milk. She has a 90-day rule. That automatically implies to me that she thinks her vagina is gold, that it's something that gum important that I have to work, strive, and earn for. I don't work that hard for anything that doesn't benefit me. Her vagina ain't it. If you have these 90-day rules, go out and blame all these Steve Harvey type guys who told you guys this foolishness. That is man repellent. Rule on day one, in the other 89 days, it'll be you playing with your cat by yourself. Next, she's a single mother. I'm not gonna bash single mothers or anything like that, but bottom line, there used to be a time when a woman had a baby out of wedlock, it was few and far between. And there was some shame that went along with it, enough to where they didn't keep going out and doing it over and over again. Now it's a badge of honor. You as a man are worth too much and too valuable. If you've got your head on straight, you're out doing your thing, working your business, taking care of your business, you should not be forced to pick from a crop of women who've already had another man's children.
And that is one of the most important things, because what you don't understand is you are nothing more than help in a situation. You are there to help. You're there to pay bills, to raise the children, pay their whatever expenses that come across. And so many of you have fallen into this trap these days. I mean, it's become disturbing because, how do I say this? You're playing a role that you'll never really be appreciated for. Or don't get me wrong, mentals that are appreciated, but more often than not, you'll not be appreciated. And you'll find that there isn't incidences where relationships fail more than that. And it's because of that situation.
You should not have to go out here and fight the world, build such and so forth, to come home to a woman that you will at best be the fourth or fifth most important thing in her life. You deserve better than that. I am sorry, ladies, if you've had a child, that is your responsibility. Own it. Own it. And as far as I'm concerned, stay out of the dating scene until your kids are out of the house. You made the choice to have those children, especially if you did it outside of wedlock. If you made that choice, then you make the choice to wear that scarlet letter. It's not our problem, it's yours. Guys, do not date single mothers. I could write an entire novel on this one. Do it at your peril. Next, she's a strong, independent, fill-in-the-blank woman. For me, you have 3 times to say that. I'm a strong, independent, blank woman. I'm a strong, independent, blank woman. I'm a strong, independent, check please, I'm gone. Anytime that comes out of their mouth, non-negotiable in the sentence, whether it's day 1 or day 300. Because to me, that's an underlying issue that's waiting to burst through.
And it always amazes me that people say these statements, and ironically, why would you say you're a strong, independent black woman or whatever it is, if you really are about that business? Because what people are looking for is accolades they have not earned. That's my assessment of it all. Because you're trying to speak to people because you realize they're all so nasty. You also like using that moniker, I'm a strong, independent piece of that. They're always so arrogant, so rude for no reason, because they think that's what strength is. And that's not strength or independent. And first of all, they are not strong and they're not independent. They're totally dependent against the goodwill of men most of the time. And because, unfortunately, many of us simp, a lot of these women people are so inflated, that's why they can say such things unironically. while every day all their comforts are made sure by men.
A person who has to say, I'm a strong, independent anything is none of the things she says. It's like if you find yourself having to come into your house saying, I'm the man of this house. You got to say you're the man of the house, there's a problem. If you watch Game of Thrones, when Joffrey says, I'm the king, and Tywin told him, any man who has to say he's the king is not the king. Strong, independent, blank, anything needs to be strong, independent, and alone. She believes.
And this is the thing, because a lot of people like to just say they're this or that. Trust me, you don't have to mention it if you're about that business. People know and they act accordingly. You don't have to even be overbearing in any way because your actions speak for you. People don't know not to message you. People know that you're about certain principles and whatnot, and they will eventually respect that, because the people that don't respect that are immediately ostracized. And that's just the way it is. I know it's scary for most people and to give people too many chances to screw you over. And then when it happens, you get shocked. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and say, this is it, and you move on.
That men and women are equals. We are not equals. No male and female of any species on the planet are equal. We are different for a reason. I am not going to negotiate your role and my role. If you come into this saying that we're equal, we're automatically at loggerheads because you're not a woman, in my opinion. You're a female. I don't date females. I date women. Just like the men will hear what I'm saying, the males will probably throw shade. If you want a woman that you're equal, you're really giving your manhood up, and I can't help you. For the guys out there who are trying to hear me, equality is not what it's cracked up to be. Typically, women want equality when it benefits them, and they want to be ladies when it suits them.
And let me tell you something, whether we like it or not, because all the women can tell you they work, they make their own money, but if you do not deliver more, it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you feel about it, you will be disrespected, probably be left. It is what it is. You know, sometimes as a man, you have to accept the reality of life and know how to deal with it so that you make decisions. You try and make somebody's decision. It's not nothing to do with how you'd like things to be. It's more about how things are, about you can take advantage of what's happening right now to suit you.
I don't have time for all the back and forth because I'm trying to do what I'm doing. I'm leading, she's going to follow. There can't be two captains. Pick your poison. If you pick equality, you'll die a slow death. She's a big-time church girl. Look, I'm a Christian. I was born and raised in the church. I attend regularly, but big-time church girls tend to come with big-time church problems. There's no more hypocrisy in dating than in the church, because unless she's a big-time church girl and a virgin, you're already going to have issues. Oftentimes, big-time church girls try to use the Bible as a weapon against the men that they date.
And this is the thing. Church has become a rebranding exercise for most women who've walked the streets. We all know this. You can see them. They can't even help themselves most of the time. They'll be seated there in their short skirts, trying to look hot and stuff. We all know this. And that's why, personally, it has never been about people, what they proclaim to be or what they, on the surface, do. But really what is consistent in their behavior. Are they dishonest? Are they loyal? Are they pretentious? Are they a-holes? Those are the important things. It doesn't matter what cultural thing that you latch on to try to look good. What are you actually are as a person every day? That's more important than all the hormonal reactions we have.
To hold you biblically accountable for everything that it says a man should be, but yet not hold themselves biblically, morally, or ethically accountable to anything that it says a woman should be. They'll tend to take scriptures out of context, use biblical stories for their own selfish and manipulative ends, and hit you in a place to where you really can't defend your spirituality. That is the height of manipulative, deceptive, just bad behavior. I don't roll with big time church Bible thumpers for these primary reasons. If it doesn't suit you, move on.
And for me, actually, generally speaking, even men who are Bible thumpers, I'm always very skeptical because a vast majority of the people I've met who are like that, deep down, they're very dishonest, manipulative people. That's just what my experience has been. And I believe many of you would agree with me because this is a fact we see every day.
But you know the kind of person I'm talking about. And if it does, comment section below. Feel free to holler, because only a hit dog holler. She's got lots of single girlfriends. You ever see a pack of animals roaming a neighborhood? There's always a lead animal, and the ones that roam, it's all a bad situation. It's a game. Single women who hang out with other single women sit around and talk about single women stuff, and it's typically a lot about man bashing. Because just like most women, anytime they break up, it's never their fault. They never take accountability. Everyone they broke up with is a jerk. So if you start dating this woman who's hanging out with a lot of single girls, she's gonna go back to her friends, and everything that happens good over here, you're gonna be getting undermined with over here.
And that's the thing, because whether we like it or not, the people we hang out with, the people we spend time with, they influence how we think, how we behave, depending really how strong your character is, because you might be the one influencing everyone else to be able such in a way. So I've found that among women, this is endemic. What their friends think, because they're always trying to outdo each other. So they'll use that against each other, because if you care so much about an opinion of someone, you always try to look like you're doing better than them, so that there's always these power struggles in those groups. You'll find they're always chasing each other's men if the men are successful or good looking, whatever the case may be. And it's always kind of this unsettling alliance they always have until they don't. So especially for this current generations, it is absolutely diabolical to leave someone who has a flock of women around every time. Oh, girls' night out. I've been out when they're having those girls' night out. And I see what happens, and there's absolutely no reason why a woman who's serious with you should want to be running out laying the streets, going to drink and flirt and do all those things that we do with them out there in the clubs. Come on now, guys, you know that.
She's got a lot of single girlfriends that she hangs out with, or a lot of single girlfriends, period. Peace, two fingers. You can't win, because their strength in numbers and female foolishness is at an all-time high, and we don't need to deal with it. Avoid women that got a lot of single friends. And another thing, women that have a lot of single friends don't typically hang out with women who are in relationships or married, because they themselves don't know how to be. They know single. Let them stay single. It's gonna hurt. She comes from a long line of single mothers, aunts, and cousins. My ex-wife hit this to the mold. I love that woman. She was fine as frog's hair, but when I went her family, 13 of the most beautiful women I have seen in one family, 11 of them were single. And I got to know why. Because they all had that same strong, independent, blank woman strength. They all had that quintessential attitude, dysfunctional group of harpies if I ever met them. Nice enough people when you meet them one-on-one, but if you have a long line of single mothers, aunts, and cousins, you have generational curses, problems, and things in that family.
And this is what I was tied to the previous points. You have the sum total partly, at least for, depending on who you are, of the people you hang out with. And especially if you're raised by that person from childhood, you didn't meet them when you're older, when you form more solid ideas. No, when you're forming your ideas, these are the people that are actively helping you form those ideas. And you can't run away from the results. We have seen all across the world that women basically beget more single women, like single women, single mothers. You find the daughter, she's a single mother, and the line just goes on like that. In the West, a lot has become endemic, say in the Black community, even Hispanic community, even the white community. Peninsulas are growing every year. It's because the same issues are arising. Because in the end, it's not really about color, is it? It's about, the sexes.
It will rear its head sooner or later. You don't want to be around either way. The downside is this woman typically has really good sex game. So, think with your big head, not with your little one. Look at the chips on the board and adjust accordingly. Don't even let yourself get sucked in. Ask some questions. Figure out what her family life is like, her family history. You're interviewing her for a job inside the corporation of you. You're the CEO. Why are you going to bring in somebody who's going to embezzle from the company, sell your secrets, and leave you in bankruptcy? And lastly, she's got a history of broken relationships, especially if she's an 8, 9, or 10. 8s, 9s, and 10s, every one of their exes were all jerks and buttholes. I've never ever met a woman who's upfront about their relationships in the past and say, you know what, I messed that up. I cheated on him, I hurt him, I did this, such and so forth. It's always something was wrong with every guy. From high school to college to lifetime, from lifetime to college to high school to junior high to elementary. Each and every boyfriend or guy they've dated along the line was always something wrong with the men.
And now, this is two sides of the blade, because the first thing is this: beautiful women will always receive the majority of attention from men for obvious reasons. And for that reason alone, they are very risky to date, because whether we like it or not, there's always a man who's better than you. Even if you're the richest, there's someone else who has something else you want that is better than what you have, if you know what I mean. And it will continue to be that way. And that's why, for all intent and purposes, the internet destroyed it all, because now these women are seen by everyone. Because it surely needs to be beautiful, and people who share our page, they will follow, subscribe, or whatever reason. Because that's the kind of animal we are. And one of the worst reasons to actually marry someone is looks, just based on what's happening these days. So you have to be careful. But oh yes, this is this biological, almost irresistible urge to chase dispute. But when you start thinking in the light head, you can see on the red flags, because we see them and we ignore them because she looks like that.
Guys, step back from this for a second. Ask yourself, the only common denominator in all of her situations was her. If there's always something wrong with everyone and it's not her, it's going to be you in a minute. Avoid this kind of woman at all costs, because all she knows is how to break up. All she knows how to be is in dysfunctional relationships. You're not going to come in and fix her. You're not going to come in and save her. Save yourself. Avoid her up front. All right, guys, those are just the...
Yeah, so I don't know, guys, what you thought about that. It is really important these days, because these decisions that you make from the dating scene, you entangle yourself with women and your resources and your lies and everything. It has to be made somebody. Because a lot of people are making a lot of stupid decisions based on just their natural instincts. Sometimes they're good, but we already know those instincts we have that can destroy us. And for those people, because this is inevitable, the species has to continue, we are going to deal with women forever as long as we exist. The whole idea is that you have to deal with them with favorable terms. We have always sacrificed women for children from the beginning, because that's our burden to bear. But when the conditions are not met, where your effort are really wasted because they never yield anything admirable, you have to take a step back and think deeper. How do you go about this? And that's why, be always thankful for the existence of people like Kevin Samuels. Actually, this kind of information used to be given to people in their families, their uncles, their fathers, but those are no longer close, are they? Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment or like on the video, and also Tell me if there's any other videos that you like me to talk about or react to. And until next time, peace.